BLOCKCHANCE 2021.
Bienvenue. Je suis heureux d'être ici.
So, thanks, Karl. That's actually my personal avatar, co-created with Synthesia. It was a great, flexible, fast tool to create content. And just checking the audience, probably I haven't covered all the languages, and definitely not the dialects, but next time I will do, and maybe add also a little bit my voice. And I'm using the avatar for virtual presentation, and I'm just asking the audience, am I the only one using an avatar, or somebody has something to share experience in that? Next time. Okay, actually, because it's a new way of presenting, it leads me directly to the title of my presentation, The Time to Reinvent is Now. And I strongly believe that actually reinvention as a topic in itself is probably the most important topic for the next years. So reinvention and ongoing reinvention. But first, let me introduce myself a little bit, and Max already did a little bit on that, it's great. So actually I started my personal professional reinvention journey almost more than 25 years ago. So I used to work for Procter & Gamble and Coke, FMCG companies, and then I moved directly in the digital space, eBay, Google, and I was in charge of startups, and in this digital phase, I tried to explain the offline world, the online world, and the online world, the offline world, and actually I realized there's only one world, and that was the reason why I started as a chief thinker and founder of Gedankenfabrik, which is a consultancy helping companies to manage the intelligent transformation. So our mission is, on the one side, to guide companies and brands, on the other side, empower their teams and employees really to be ready for the challenges and requirements in their transformation processes, and also be ready in shape for the reinvention paradigm. Our reinvention story of the Gedankenfabrik, as said before, started 2010. One reinvention was that in 2013 we decided that we have to understand more also China, because in order to really offer holistic consulting, you have to understand East and West. We launched our thought leadership network, 1000 Vordenker, where we're trying to predict the future. And in 2015, so 6 years ago, there was a tipping point, because we realized as a team that actually it's time now to convince people there's a new understanding of the consumer. So our concept is that actually the passive consumer transformed into an educated decision maker. So there's also a consumer transformation. Then later on over the years, in 2020, we developed the reinvention business paradigm. We launched an e-magazine, a reinvention magazine, and lately an AI playground. But later on I will tell you a little bit more about it. Over the years, we worked with a lot of, I would say, global companies, Hapag-Lloyd, European companies, local companies, regional companies. So it's a range of different companies, brands, people, cultures we worked. And the reason why I'm telling you this is that actually working with a lot of companies was the base also for the fundament for creating the reinvention concept. So combining the experiences from different vertical segments, areas, companies, cultures, old and new. But what we found out that what all customers had in common is there was the need for a new business paradigm, for a new business model, really to understand the future developments. And I think here at the conference, I think it's a great example what's coming in the future. The reinvention model should help really companies to fully exploit new enabling technologies. And I'm not sure which presentation you attended, but here we have from blockchain to NFT to Web3 and so on. But we know that actually companies need a model in order to absorb and to balance the new and the old developments. Our reinvention wheel consists of 5 dimensions. The first one, as always, starts with the customer, with the educated decision maker. The second dimension is about rebuild your brand. It's all about the brand. It's always built on key strengths of brand and company. And the important thing is if you don't understand the power of brand. You don't have a brand, you have a product, and the problem is that a product could turn into a commodity. The third dimension is about reimagining creativity. This is all about the big transformational idea. I have seen a lot of big transformation idea already here at the conference. So the first three dimensions, they actually promise a lot to the customer. The fourth dimension is reshape innovation, is actually translating it into deliveries in terms of products, services, and solutions. The last dimension, relearn forever, it's all about lifelong learning. And I think I had in the chat some questions about, actually that's the most critical aspect of all interconnected dimensions, because people, employees, organization really have to learn to adapt new technologies, to understand technologies, to understand the customer and so on. So it's very critical that all these dimensions are connected with each other. And actually, when you want to be successful as a company, you have to deal with all dimensions somehow. And at the moment, with the reinvention, we are in, as we all know, in the exponential growing phase of technologies. In the enabling phase, Google and eBay were driving technologies. In the empowerment phase, it was, I would say, Apple and the access, internet, mobile access to internet companies. And what happened is that, as I said before, it also transformed from a push economy, where we said, that's for you, customer, to a pull economy, where the customer decides what they want. So at the end of the day, the customer now is in the driver's seat. And in the current enhancement phase, which is mainly driven by AI and lately by sustainability in broad sense, that actually creates an additional moment. So the ongoing process of reinvention is going on and going on. And normally you would ask the question for more time, do I have to reinvent the wheel? Definitely yes, and ongoing. Because the world is really changing and everything goes faster and is really interconnected. I want to show you 3 examples actually how we applied new technology in our consulting work. The first one is a metaverse example. On the one side, we transformed our e-magazine into a space magazine. So, and we used Mozilla Hubs for that because it's easy access, it's easy to use, there are low barriers. And I think that when you use Mozilla Hubs, please use Chrome or Mozilla, don't use Edge. That's not really working. But this is an educational process because people have to learn how to do it, to understand it. And also this concept we worked out with a global customer. We're on a global scale. We had to educate the employees. But one key finding was that nowadays people learn very, very fast. So in that way, that when you do something, you have to expect that expectations are really rising exponentially. So this is really great first-time experience. And just a question, has somebody from the audience tried Mozilla Hubs or something like that? Yeah. So I think that then you know, so it's also interesting when you learn it and when you do it, so it's a simple way. And I think actually there's a strong business case already for the metaverse. The second example, what I want to share with you is our AI playground. So we have on our website an AI playground with 25 plus plays, where actually customers, interested people can check out new technologies, AI applications ranging from deep learning to facial recognition in a very playful way, because we strongly believe in order to understand new technology, you have to try it, you have to check it out, and you have to experience it, you have to feel it. And the latest example, what we used was reinventing coding. We used a codex from OpenAI, so it's a great GPT-3 application. And there we said, we want to create a basketball game and a little bit of counting. So on the left side, you see, you type in natural language, okay, a basketball, and want to make it a little smaller, and pixel, and so on. On the right side, you see the programming languages, different ones. So it's a great way, actually, that you can program something without being an expert. And this will be a big, big game changer in the future, not just for normal people, but also for a lot of programmers. So it's a great experience, and if you want to do it, there's a waiting list. I only can highly recommend it. It's great. It's a great thing. The third example for today, and that's something more on my personal note, and that's my wish from my side. Actually, we used the conference to launch an NFT charity coin. It's Christmas in a Box, where we support children in need. We launched it on SoulSea, based on Solana, because actually SoulSea is quite a new thing, and the costs are not that high. So when we have these 50 coins really in the selection we have in the collection, we can donate as much as possible. So if you want to really to check it out, I think the best thing is that you go on mobile phone, you have the QR code, or maybe you make a photo from the Bitly address. I think it's a great thing if you want to know more about it, because we have a booth anyway. So what we experience is that some people have experience with OpenSea, SoulSea made something new. So if you need some help, just go to our booth, because this is really something good. And as always, it works that way that when you buy something, you trade, and the royalties, they go 100% to the Christmas in the Box campaign. If you need some help, Aaron from my team is also here next 2 days. Actually, he was working night shifts to do that, because on the other thing, we were flexible, that we want to do it. On the other side, platforms such as SoulSea, they are changing the rules sometimes. So you do something, next day you found out you have to do something in addition. So it's a great learning experience, experimental. It helps a lot. And for me, one key finding was that every one of us can do something good using new technologies. So it's a quite, I would say, cool time investment where all of us can learn something and do maybe something first time. Last but not least, I was talking a lot about reinvention. We also developed a reinvention readiness questionnaire. If you want to know your reinvention readiness score, again, it's a questionnaire with a lot of questions. And the great thing is that when you answer all the questions, actually it creates a new way of thinking. And that actually was the purpose of my presentation. So the time to reinvent is now, maybe forever. So again, thanks to my team here and also on stream for supporting me, and thanks to the audience for your attention. Thank you.
BLOCKCHANCE 2021.